stuck in this moment of constantly just watching videos online and watching collectives, right? And it's this is not work. This is not and I always say this to you guys, it's a compliment. It's something that it's, it's good to have in between sessions, in between your actual work, daily shadow work, exercises and contemplation, right? Whatever is it that you're guided to do, or your spiritual teacher told you to do. But it shouldn't be like the core thing that you do. You're going to get nowhere with this. And I always explain this to you guys. This is not the purpose of collective. You cannot heal based on watching collective videos on TikTok, okay? Collective videos, they're designed to, first of all, get to know your healer, okay? To draw you towards the energy of a person that will resonate with you. And second thing is to, generic education, maybe in between your sessions, to get some knowledge, to learn something. Yes, wonderful. To introduce yourself to the topic of spirituality. Many people, when they start watching these videos, you are intimidated, right? It's not like you see my video and you sign up for a session. Usually people watch, whoever feels like it's going to be your healer in future, you watch those videos for 3, 4, 6, sometimes more months before you find that courage, and this is the purpose of it. But if you're stagnant for too long, if you procrastinate for too long, if you only think that you can watch a collective, and you can't. And I've explained this the why, because we give you certain energy, and then you have to use it for an actual shadow work, for an actual action, actual activities, the collectives are collectives. So it's a generic, and if you've ever been on a session with me, you know that they're a little bit different. They're similar, right? But they go deeper, they're softer, right? I don't yell at you on private readings. It's different because it's shaped to you, it's tailored for you, it's designed for you. We focus specifically on your journey, right? And what you need. So it's like you're realizing that you can't just like sit and educate yourself, especially, you know what I'm gonna say right now, especially that there's so many charlatans out there with 3-minute messages that bring no education. They only bring false hope. So many charlatans that know nothing about true spirituality. Sprinkle new age BS, okay? Especially if you're on a divine journey. So many charlatans, okay, who know nothing of this journey, and their life's path is not linked to the divine journey, or sometimes even not to tarot or like spirituality, and they go ahead because this is the world that we live in, right? Not to mention that there are always forces and energies who, sort of try to stop the divines to rising into their power and coming together, because our role is to effing break this matrix, right? Matrix doesn't want that. But we're stronger than that. And it's like you're understanding this now, this collective. It's not just me, crying and watching collectives. And yeah, it's something that you can do in between. We have to... sessions, work, shadow work, exercises, contemplation, whatever, it's going to be relevant for your journey, right? One more, and then we're going to do Ten of Cups. There's this collective, you would really strongly believe and feel, I don't want to say, although it's true, attached to the feeling that this is your person. This is your person, this is your counterpart, this is your masculine. You wouldn't, it's like this is your happiness. This is your ultimate happiness. And I say this to you guys all the time. It is absolutely okay, it is normal, it is understandable that in the beginning of this journey, our masculine is our motivation. He is our motivation to fight, to do this every day, to show up, because we want him to return, right? So we do these exercises and we do shadow work. We find courage within us. Things on this journey that we feel, that we go through, that we see, that we remember, the past lives, it cannot be understood by anyone who hasn't been on a journey. And again, I always say this to you guys, I'm not making this an exclusive club, but it's a very specific journey, right? for a good reason, because it's not a love story. It's a journey of an awakening of two powerful souls that have a mission on this earth. And as long as this 10 of Cups, your fulfillment, your happiness, your happy ever after, goes tied with this, your masculine, all you're gonna get is this. I promise you. Because his role, I've explained this in yesterday's on the day before. There was a reading that I mentioned to you guys about dancing, right? That how is the role of a masculine dancer to sort of make sure that the feminine dancer, that she looks beautiful, right? And so there's no place for jealousy. He's that he leads, but his role is to draw attention to her, to devote himself to her, right? And that's exactly his role, and subconsciously he knows that. So he knows that until you become this, the divine feminine, until you stand in your glory, in your divinity, in your glow, until this is alchemized from this, and that is completely not necessary to have this, he will constantly give you this. Because his job is to teach you how to alchemize that on your own and how to be that. This is his job, to teach you to remember how to be that. And again, whenever I talk about these things, I always send you guys to my website. There are a couple of articles about divine love, and there's a specific one that talks about divine Trinity flow, right? So we always have to, as a feminine, we are the element of God on earth. We are the gatekeeper, the value setter, the oracle. Our job is to always devote ourselves to the mission and to God, right? Not to our masculine. And when we do that, the divine then blesses the masculine with all the abundance, with all the power, everything that he needs. And him, through devoting himself to us, that dancer, right? That frame, creating that frame, and as we dance, we again can fully drop into our feminine and devote ourselves to God. And we create a beautiful yin and yang union, right? It is his job. So as long as you are looking towards him, he's going to be giving you that to remind you, nope, nope, nope. It's not how it's supposed to look like. All right. All right. Let's see what we're going to do for this collective. We spent quite some time on sort of breaking down your energy. I feel like you needed that. So maybe now we're just going to do a couple of like re-encouragement messages. What is it that you need to learn? What is it that you need to focus on? I grabbed these. I don't use them that much, but maybe there's a message here that we need to hear. So let's do a few of these. One more. All right. We have cleansing, number 25. Cleansing, lemon. So maybe you need a little cleanse. Maybe you need a little energetic cleanse. Maybe you need to take care a little bit more of your energy, your energy body. A little purge as well, I'm hearing. Cry if you need to. It's a beautiful way to cleanse your soul, cleanse your body. Don't hold your emotions, especially that you have emotions here as well. Number 4, emotions. Don't hold back your emotions. Don't be ashamed of your emotions. Learn your emotions. We're going to do a couple of emotions card for you, this collective, but it's very important to, for the feminine, it's the role of the feminine to understand the emotions. For emotions we learn. I always say this to you guys. Wisdom, number 22, wisdom. I'm seeing back this alchemist card. Remember, you have all the tools. You have all the wisdom within. All of us divine feminines within our womb that carries the knowledge of our lineage, right? We have all the wisdom of our ancestors that we need. We just need to remember how to access it. We just need to remember that wisdom. So maybe you should, it's like there's something clouding still. There is, so maybe you need a good energetic cleanse. A good energetic cleanse to be able to connect. I'm looking at this book as well. If you know your lineage, if you know your the ancestral line, maybe you should read some books about about that. Whatever books you gravitate towards, you can browse online, or like go to a bookshop or a library, or whatever will draw your attention, to learn something more about your culture, about your lineage, about your ancestors, where you come from. Maybe that will it's coming to my mind, so it's for a reason. And we have attraction number 34, and what I'm hearing with this is law of attraction. I feel this collective here being shown this, the true law of attraction, right? The true law of attraction, that you're never going to attract what you're not. That you're not. Two more. No, that's too many. Affection number 12. We have a mirror on that card. It's coming to my mind. I've done a video and I've posted it yesterday about connection and feelings. Maybe you should watch that. You would be surprised how people are confused. Most people, 90%, they don't really understand how they feel. And when we start this journey, we feel that we're in this longing, that we need our masculine. It's because we love him so much, because the love is so deep, right? And this is why we cannot breathe without him, we cannot move on. And feminine on this journey, in the beginning of this journey, we actually feel physical, literal pain without him. Whenever he's gone, whenever he's abandoning us, it's like we're crawling on the floor from pain, physical pain. And then we start to remember traumas and past lives, and as we heal that, we have to transmute that, we have to release that, so it manifests physically. Not every time, obviously we're being protected on this journey, but some past lifetimes, as you remember, you go through that pain again, you feel that pain physically, you feel that pain emotionally, whatever is it that happened to you, right? So we feel that because we have this, all this happens because we have this strong love, and we have this strong, no, it's because you are wounded. Because when you heal, and I always say this to you guys, when you heal, all that is left for your masculine is pure love. Pure love doesn't long, pure love doesn't ask, pure love doesn't hurt, doesn't cause heartbreak. You just love him, despite the fact that he is far away from you and that he's not choosing you. You believe that he's on your quest and on his quest, and then it's absolutely fine, but you love him. And in that love, you sit in your own 10 of cups, in your fulfillment, in your happiness. You don't need him to feel that. You don't need him to be happy. Because that love is a 5D love, is a spiritual love, is a love that goes through lifetimes, through timelines, through realms. It just is. You are it. You don't have to hold his hand in the physical. You are that love. You embody that love. And whatever is still not love is a mirror that is being shown to you that you have to heal. Something's coming to my mind. Hold on, but I want to do one more. Agreement number 24, and we have happiness at the bottom. Happiness and courage and trust. Ding, 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 ding. We need these. We have agreement. I feel like it's an agreement with yourself. I feel like you're being called to really make that agreement with yourself, that you're going to dedicate yourself to this journey, to loving you as much as you feel you love him. Okay? What I was seeing, because there's a pendulum there's a pendulum on this card, right? So maybe you are using pendulum, maybe you're guided to use pendulum. And I was guided to explain to you guys, be careful. Be careful with these things. I know I always say to you guys that oracle cards and pendulum are the only things that are not classified as sort of a divination, so anyone can use it. These are made for everyone, right? Because tarot, dowsing rods, crystal ball, if you're not an awakened channel, fully awakened channel whose lineage is linked to this divination, you should not be touching them. It's bad karma, charlatan, okay? But these two tools are actually made for everyone to use. But there's a specific difference between these tools, right? Because if you decide to use oracle cards, you just grab the oracle cards, you ask your guides for guidance, you cleanse the deck, you connect to the deck, you pull a card however you want to pull it, and here's your guidance. Crystal clear, right? However, to use a pendulum, we become a channel for that pendulum, because how the pendulum swings as we ask the question, it is through the energy of our body, right? Because if you hang it right here on a lamp, it ain't gonna swing, because it needs your body. We are the channel. This is why stupid people say that, it's cheating because if I hang it like it doesn't move. Oh my God. How is supposed to is spirit move something that they do it through us? They have no power over it. It will require a tremendous amount of power to actually for a spirit to move something in the physical world. Like, people are just stupid. The nonsense that they say is incredible. So it's obvious, hello, it is obvious that you are the channel. This is how it freaking moves, right? So this is why we need a clear channel. Okay, we need a clear channel. That's why I always say to you guys that people who aren't healed cannot use divination tools, because this divination tools, similarly to the rods, if you stick them in like two candles, that ain't gonna move. They need your body. Your body is a channel. As I read tarot, it's not the meaning of the card. It's my body that is a channel. Through my body, energy flows. I feel things. I see things. I hear things, right? This is why I always say to you guys that once you are a spiritual teacher, you have to be a clear vessel. You have to maintain a clear vessel. You have to take care of yourself on the level of physical body, spirituality, energy. I think I've done a video about this. If you want me to talk about this more, let me know. But true spiritual teacher, your core is to make sure that you're a clear vessel, because otherwise you're not clear channel. You're freaking projecting. This is why there's so many charlatans there that are not yet healed, that don't understand concepts, and then they grab cards and yeah, he's coming, he's returning. Charlatans, okay? So when you use the pendulum, you need to be a clear vessel, and if you're not, you may not receive a clear answer. So it's the reason it's coming to my mind. So maybe you were thinking about using a pendulum, or you want to use a pendulum, which is great. You can experiment with a pendulum if you feel guided to, but remember, don't get attached to these answers. Maybe you grab the pendulum and you ask your guides, is my masculine going to text me within the next week? Are we really in separation? Is he really abandoning me? Does he love me? And you're getting some answers, and then they're not true. And then you get disappointed, and then you lose faith. And first of all, it is always a test of our faith. As long as we ask these questions, it means that there's still many things within us to heal. That's for starters. But the second thing, you have to understand that if you really want something, if you're in longing, you express that within your whole body, right? So the pendulum is going to swing, right? So just with a dose of detachment, okay? With a dose of detachment. I want to do a couple of emotions for you, and then we're going to do these, we'll see, hold on. Let's do a couple of emotions. What is it that spirit wants you and your guides want you to fully understand? Honesty. Honesty. Honesty, this is number 10. Maybe there has been a lot of dishonesty within your connection. Maybe you're not fully understanding. Let's read this card. Honesty is a natural byproduct of connecting our inner truth to our heart space. When we know who we are, we understand our truth and our mission in this world. We effortlessly express ourselves with integrity. There is a deep inner alignment between who we are, what we think and feel, and what we say and do. Honesty brings us deep sense of inner peace, knowing that our actions and words are um, aligned with our authentic self, creates sense of stability and security within. When we are wounded, we can confuse projection and lack of compassion with honesty. Are you being honest, or are you speaking out harsh and unnecessary judgments? Make sure what you are calling honesty is in line with your values and internal truth, and is always wrapped in kindness, compassion, and grace. What I'm hearing for this collective, maybe there has been a lot of dishonesty from your masculine, a lot of what you feel are lies, but let's just say it for what it is. If you are saying something that is not true, it is a lie. If you're saying something, if you're saying that you'll do something and you don't do it, it's a lie. Okay, so let's call things for what they are. And maybe you're not understanding the why. Maybe you struggle, maybe you go back, like he said this and he didn't do that. But you guys, it's exactly what this card explains. And many times our masculines, because obviously they're good souls, they're the same frequency as we are, they're divine. It's just that, just like us, they forgot. Their ego went through certain trauma, certain experiences, and it's a bit more brutal when it comes to life experiences oftentimes for the masculines, because the part of their path is the karmic experience, right? Our role is a little bit different, but it's not like that they're viciously and evil to the core and that they want to lie to us and deceive us. It comes from a place of fear and of wounding. So oftentimes when they make these promises, right, they really mean it. They really want to stay. They really don't want to abandon us. They don't want to disappear and ghost us. But then the fear comes in. And I'm not saying this is an excuse. What they do, it is. And it is what it is, and you have to act accordingly. So don't use these things as excuse. I always say this to you guys. Compassion and understanding has nothing to do with self-love and boundaries, right? But maybe you need to understand that the reason he is not being honest and he's not completely saying things, that it's because his inner truth is not connected to his heart space. How could it be? When the masculines are wounded, they don't know their inner truth and their heart is locked. Until you open your heart and heal your heart, and you lead the way on this journey, until they open their heart and lock their hearts and find during their karmic quest their inner truth, their authentic truth, and they connect that truth, right, the heart to throat as well, they won't be able to speak honestly, because they just don't understand. So the moment he says to you, I'm going to call you tomorrow, and we're going to see each other, and I'm not going to disappear, and then he disappears, it's not like the moment when he was making that promise, he knew that I'm going to deceive her, she's so stupid, she believes me. No, he actually thought that he's going to have the strength. And then we parted ways. You went back home and he went back to his home, and fears started coming in, and fears and doubts and fear of commitment and fear of betrayal and all the freaking wounds that they have and they haven't healed, and boo, gone with the wind. Acceptance. Number 16, acceptance. When we stop resisting and surrender to the universe, we enter a state of acceptance. Life is a complex chessboard, and it is not for us to fully comprehend the reasons behind people's actions or life events. But it's also true, and it's a reason it came together. So maybe you're focusing too much on the why when it comes to his behavior. And I always say this to you guys, and not just on a divine journey, right? When people stop to think, why is this person like this, right? Whether that's your neighbor, ex-husband, your boss, why? Why? Why is this person saying these things? Why is this person dishonest? Why is this person a narcissist? The only question that we should ask is, why are you bothered? Why does it trigger you? You. True journey of healing is always focusing on us. Finger here. Me, what? Okay, they are who they are. It is their journey, it is their business, it is their quest, none of mine. Why am I bothered? What wound within me I know that people don't believe me when I say this, but I swear to all I love, when you are centered, when you are healed, when you find your center, when you find your way back home to your soul, whatever people do, it doesn't affect you, because you have a bigger picture, because you have risen your level of consciousness. You understand that he can be the biggest and a narcissist on the face of the planet and dishonest liar. It's not going to bother me, because I love myself. It doesn't shake my world, my truth, my authenticity, who I am. I'm just going to move away lovingly from this person, right? Whoever that's what it's exactly that. Maybe you need to stop analyzing him and focus a little bit more on analyzing yourself. Accept things for what they are. He is not yet a divine. He's not yet healed. Nothing is yet set in stone. We're starting this journey. You're going to set the tone for it. That's why you have to focus on you. There you have it. Determination, number 23. Determination is willpower. It is firmness of purpose. It is a beautiful quality of masculine energy within. Maybe you need to heal your inner masculine, attend to your masculine, that helps us to create forward movement with faith, strength, and structures. Many feminists, they want structure, they want commitment from the masculine, but they cannot commit to themselves. We lead the way. I always say this to you guys. On this journey, we lead the way. If you cannot commit yourself to you, if you cannot commit yourself to the journey of healing, to the journey of inner work, to God, to your mission, to purpose, he will never commit himself to you. It's the triangle. If you could explain this to him now, he wouldn't understand. It's on a subconscious, deep subconscious level. It's a blueprint of our soul. But it's that flow. As long as you are not fully devoted to God, to your purpose, to your mission, he won't devote himself to you, because it is the wholeness. He knows that in order for him, for the masculine, to do his job well, which means to be the builder and the architect of the physical world, the protector and the provider of the physical world, he needs to be connected to God. He needs to be connected to values, to universal truths. And how he connects to that is through a divine feminine. So if the woman he's looking at is not a divine feminine, he's not going to be able to devote himself to you, because he knows that the devotion will come only when your devotion will go towards purpose and towards God, because this is your role in the connection. Once you are fully connected, again, then the God will bless him with inspiration, with guidance, with abundance, with direction, and he will be able to translate into the physical world. When we are determined, we are energetically connected to our highest, most aligned timeline. You want to reach your timeline, but you're not committing yourself to you. You're not determined. One more. And I want to do this Kim Krans for you. Forgiveness. 13. Forgiveness. I'm hearing a couple of things. Maybe we mentioned forgiveness in previous part, right? So maybe you have to understand concept of forgiveness. Maybe there are things that you need to forgive to yourself. Maybe there are certain people in your life that you haven't forgiven and you should. I'll just read that and maybe it will sort of, resonate. Or maybe something will come to me. No matter what we experience in life, we all have the capacity to forgive and let go. Let go. Understanding that our souls are here to grow and learn through life experiences, we heal and expand our hearts, embodying love, compassion, and forgiveness. When we connect to the frequency of forgiveness, we accept that any painful or challenging experience we went through was part of our path, serving our soul's evolution. As long as there is someone in our life that we cannot forgive, it means that our heart is not yet completely healed. When we're wounded, we can either confuse dissociation with forgiveness or project our own shame on another. Remember, in order to forgive and let go, we must forgive ourselves first. So I want to explain these concepts to you because I'm guided to. So when we're wounded, we either confuse dissociation with forgiveness, which is important, right? Because saying that I don't care about someone, I don't want them in their life, I know it's past, it's, you know, it's let go. It doesn't always mean forgiveness. Confirmation. So make sure that you haven't swept under a rug anything from the past, but you've actually forgiven, right? If we forgive someone, it means